this was today? What time
Oh,
did we leave? 1:15?
I've got a lot of slides and not enough time to get through them all, so I'm just gonna like speed through these, and if anyone wants to hang out after class and talk about it, like we can do that. So my presentation is titled Irreplaceable. It's about replacement migration, a United Nations policy. Essentially what's happening in the United States, Europe, South Korea, Japan, and a few other places, the population is decreasing due to a low birth rate, and this is going to potentially cause a lot of economic problems for these countries, because 30 to 50 years from now, depending on which country you're talking about, there's going to be too many old people and not enough young people working and paying taxes into the Social Security to offset the costs of these old people. And the United Nations has a really simple solution. We just take these decreasing populations in the first world and replace them with the booming populations of the third world. Because like places like Africa, South and Central America, India, their populations are exploding while these populations are shrinking. So you just move people to where, you know, they need to be moved. Issue with this is we're importing people to do a bunch of jobs that aren't going to be here when we need them to be here. Like 30 to 50 years from now, like 20 years from now, we're going to lose 30 million jobs to automation and artificial intelligence programs. And people are thinking like, oh, self-driving cars are going to take all the trucking jobs. It's not that simple. Artificial intelligence programs are going to take away all the entry-level white-collar jobs. All of your low-level accounting jobs, stuff like that, gone. Gone. Not going to be here. So what's the point in bringing people to do jobs that won't be here? The fact that those jobs won't be here makes this problem. The fact that these jobs won't be here makes this problem a lot worse. 63% of non-citizen residents are already on welfare compared to 35% of citizens. Both of those numbers are going to go up dramatically because all of these jobs are going to vanish. So these people are already increasing costs, not offsetting them. And their jobs that they're being imported to do are going to be gone. So this is pretty pointless. And then there are the cultural costs, and this is where y'all are going to start to hate me. Diversity is our strength is a barefaced lie. And you should know this, because the data was in August 5th, 2007 is when this New York Times article was written. Robert Putnam was a sociologist who did the single largest sociological study ever conducted in American history. And he found the greater the diversity in a community, the fewer people vote and the less they volunteer. The less they give to charity and work on community projects. In the most diverse communities, neighbors trust one another about half as much as they do in the most homogeneous settings. The study, the largest ever on civic engagement in America, found that virtually all measures of civic health are lower in more diverse settings. So we're importing them to do jobs that won't be here. They're increasing the costs they're supposed to offset, and having them here at all damages virtually all measures of civic health. This policy is on its face stupid. And what I'm interested in is why no one's asking the question, what can we do to increase the birth rates? And it's simple. They don't want to increase the birth rates. The mask slips. The mask slips. Want to fight climate change? Have fewer kids. Oh, refugee influx to help halt the decline in Germany's population. What? Here it is again. Would you give up having kids to save the planet? Oh, no, you're not having kids, so we need to import all these people.
Wait, what? That doesn't even make sense.
What?
Could antenatal propaganda be connected to the falling birth rates? Does the fact that people in these countries are inundated constantly with the message that you have to not have kids in order to save the planet, could that maybe be contributing to why the birth rates are so low? After that, we've got this, economic factors, and here's where we start to get asking scary questions. The United Nations defines genocide as deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. This definition raises a number of questions. The one that I want to focus on is, does being inundated with antenatal propaganda, as well as priced out of parenthood through economic means, does that count as conditions of life calculated to bring about group destruction? And also, if the end result is the reduction or elimination of that group, should it really matter if it's deliberate or not? All right? If the end result is all of the people in Japan die out and are gone forever and replaced by people from India who are not practicing Shinto, not rolling sushi rolls, is it still Japan? Is this something that we should be okay with happening? All right, and this is where it's just a conspiracy theory. It's just a conspiracy theory. You're just a racist, neon-Yahtzee, white supremacist where you're spreading a racist white replacement myth. Well, guess what? I don't care if you call me racist. I don't care these mean names that you call me, these ad hominem attacks. They're non-points that mean nothing. You're just trying to attack the character of the person making the argument rather than the argument itself. And this is the core question. What is a nation? What does it mean to be a nation? Is it the Constitution? Is it an economic zone on a map? Is it a stamp on your passport? All right, is that what it means to be Japanese? Or Korean? Or British? Or American? Is it just some lines in the dirt? Or is it a cultural, linguistic, ethnic heritage passed down from father to son and from mother to daughter for generations and generations and generations? If you replace the Japanese with Indians, you don't have Japan, you have India. If you replace the British with Pakistanis, you don't have Britain, you have Pakistan. Go to California right now, stand in San Francisco, look around, and then pull out your phone, get on YouTube, and look at what it used to look like 30 years ago. It's not the same place. Oops. What can we do? All right, now this is what we can do as a society. Institute tax incentives to offset the cost of childcare. We kind of already have this, but it needs to be beefed up a lot. Retool the existing welfare budget to essentially pay married women to have kids. Repatriate all existing non-citizens, retooling the existing foreign aid budget and the percentage of welfare we're already spending on them to do so. I looked that up and it varies depending on who's telling you what, but it's like maybe 26% of the welfare budget goes to foreigners. And so if we take that existing money and just cut them checks to send them back to their homes, I think that could not only do good for America, but I think that could do good for the world, and I don't really have time to explain why right now. We can get to that after class. Also, repeal the 1965 Hart-Celler Act and repeal birthright citizenship, which we talked about earlier. Thank you. What can you do personally, like as an individual? Study immigration policy and demographics.